Ethics Task Force together. First order of business, Madam Clerk, could you please conduct the first order?
Commissioner Kinlock.
Present.
Commissioner Dobb.
Here.
Chair Wilson.
Present.
We have a quorum present.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next order of business.
Item B, Chair's remarks.
Okay, first and foremost, I want to thank all of you who were here last week at our inaugural meeting. It was a very productive meeting, I thought, and I really appreciate the participation that came from our members here, Jonathan Kinlock, Commissioner, and Commissioner Melissa Dobb, as well as our Consul, Felicia Johnson. So we look forward to having many more productive engagements as we try and modify the current ordinance language to give it the strength and the teeth that is so necessary needed in order to make sure that we all are working in an environment that's free of violations, if you will. Next order, Madam Chair, Madam Clerk.
Item C, approval of the minutes from the April 23rd, 2026 meeting.
Move to approve. Support.
Okay, the approval of the minutes has been moved by Commissioner Dobb, properly supported by Commissioner Kinlock. Any corrections, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So it is in order. Next order of business.
Item D, unfinished business. There's one item listed. Number 1, review of the ethics ordinance section 40.40-2 preamble.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. So what we're going to attempt to do here is we have a current preamble in our ethics ordinance, and our objective is to try and make sure that that language is strong enough where it can hopefully deter some maybe inappropriate actions that may occur. So this is the current preamble. It's 40-2. What I'd like to do is just kind of recite this briefly so you all will know. If you don't have any information in front of you, it pretty much speaks to active participants. So let me just do this. Let me go through this right quick. Preamble 40-2, current ordinance language says, as active participants in the delivery of important governmental services, public servants are routinely called upon to make decisions. Since decisions may be varied and difficult, the choices that are made must yield good results while maintaining public interest values along the way. As public servants make these difficult decisions, there is an obligation to the citizens of Wayne County to maintain the highest ethical standards. Everyone must maintain unquestionable standards of integrity, truthfulness, honesty, fairness, and personal responsibility in the performance of all public functions. The proper performance of public duties and functions requires that public servants be independent, impartial, and responsible to the citizens of Wayne County. This chapter is established to provide meaningful guidance to employees, elected and appointed officials, and the members of appointed boards and commissions. Nothing in this chapter is intended to suggest that anyone should alter their personal beliefs. It is, however, meant to assist all public servants in making the ethical decisions that arise in our everyday course of work. Personal commitment to sound, ethical decision-making is essential to Wayne County's continued long-term success. The citizens' confidence in the integrity of Wayne County government is a crucial factor in maintaining the public's trust, and each public servant is a personal steward of that integrity. So that in and of itself is our current preamble, as I alluded to earlier. And what we're, again, tasked with doing is to try and strengthen this language and make some modifications if we deem necessary.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I think that the preamble that you just read in totality speaks to the purpose, the intent, and overarching expectation of what we would want and what we want the ethics ordinance to bring about. And I'm looking forward to us going over each of the sections in the ordinance to determine where where if any changes need to be made, enhancements. And I'm loving some of the just general comments that we have been receiving as the public have become aware that we're undertaking this work. So from my perspective, Mr. Chair, the preamble speaks to the nature and intent of the ordinance, and I don't have any suggestions to section 40-2 preamble of the ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Dodd, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to ask our commission counsel if she has any suggestions or changes to the preamble.
Through the chair to this honorable body, so you were provided with a copy of the preamble and some examples from local communities in the state, just to give you examples of what other communities have. From legal's perspective, I do not have any particular recommendations for this section at this time, so no.
Do we need a motion to accept the preamble as is, or okay?
So
The plan would be to, as we go through each section, we'll note all of the changes, and at the very end, I will present you with a revised ordinance for you to review and then vote on at the very end. So we don't need a motion at this time.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Kinlock. Thank you, Commissioner Dobb. We have our distinguished colleagues here. Anyone have any additional concerns or input with the preamble?
Thank you.
Okay. Anything, Baydun, Commissioner? Okay. Commissioner Angelique Peterson, you good? Okay. So that, and again, we can always revisit if we think there's some revisions that need to be made. I did look through the information that I have before me, and I did take a look at some of the other preambles that other counties had instituted, other municipalities had instituted, and I did see some stuff that was pretty interesting. And I know we're not going to probably talk about that yet, but there's some, Jonathan, I think there was something that I talked about before, like there was a public integrity officer. I think some of them.
So no, they'll speak to further when we get down.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so there were some people that kind of like engage in actually enforcing this preamble.
So
okay.
so that's going to probably be a new section. And so what you and I had also spoke on is that we have go over each section, but we may come to a determination as relates to how many of those sections we go over as staff summarize each of those sections, giving us a general overview of what the current language has, and giving us an opportunity for each of those sections that we know we're going to go over in the next week.
Okay.
To be prepared to bring recommendations to those changes. And so if staff, I know we approved our meeting calendar, but if staff could be prepared to group up 10 or 20 or 10 or 15 of those sections for us to, be able to review at the table. But prior to that, we actually review it before we come here and be prepared to bring our suggested changes to any of those sections, and then send that off to you and your team to, if it's determined that we want to make those changes, to be a part of that draft process that you mentioned. But we should have grouped these up in about 10 groups of sections, and be prepared to bring any changes to those sections that you put on our agenda.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Kinlock. And I must add that, and I'm not sure if everybody got the news release. Everybody see the news release that came out the other day? Everybody got it? Okay, so it just sort of points out very importantly that May the 23rd, 2026 is the deadline for submitting proposals, recommendations, any other additional information that people would like to input into us making our determinations on the language and how it's finally crafted would have to be in by that date.
So that's for the general public. Let's be clear, for the record, that's for the general public, all commissioners, all elected county folks, everybody. If you want this committee to consider any changes in any of the areas, the 23rd is the deadline. So like when you come to the meeting, public comment, that's fine and dandy, but well,
Must be in
only
writing.
thing that,
Okay,
but
right.
it's going to be in writing. And then once we start going over these sections, staff will look at those comments that have come in, and then the committee will determine whether or not we want to make those changes. But the 23rd is the deadline from what we had talked about last time for everybody to bring in those comments, so we can move efficiently through this process. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Kinlock. Okay, so if there are no further discussion, the next item, Madam Clerk.
Item E, new business number 1, review of the ethics ordinance section 40-9, ethics statement.
So yes, this is pretty interesting because I didn't notice that we had in our current language, we didn't have any ethics statement, meaning training. It's most municipalities have something in their preamble or someplace within their ordinance, and it speaks directly to training of officers, of elected officials, of civil servants, of staff, whatever the case may be. I think it's very important that we talk about the training that's necessary before people even new hires that come on, and even current officials, current employees should have some type of training that they engage in, whether it's somebody from within an organization who's trained to do this or someone such as an outside contractor or vendor. So that's going to be very critical to make sure everybody is lockstep in terms of knowing the type of behavior that's expected if they're an employee of Wayne County. And I didn't see it anywhere, so that's kind of
You have
interesting.
a suggestion for that?
Yes, well, we have there's a couple examples that I cited, and again, I'd like to have the discussion with the team here. There's one example here where it just speaks to it says prior to attending the first official meeting after an election or an appointment, county officials and employees shall sign a statement affirming they have read and understood this ethics ordinance and agree to be bound by its provisions. Also talks about county officials and employees shall participate in annual ethics training provided by the administration or qualified outside vendor. So, and then this ordinance shall also be reviewed by a party that whoever we assign that should take this role on at the first regular meeting. And then we got some dates here. So that just gives you a general idea of maybe some of the language that we're talking about that needs to be properly considered for ethics statement.
So I think we do all sign ethics acknowledgement. So we do all sign that. I think the mandatory training piece, I don't know, I don't believe we have that, but I think it's just an annual acknowledgement.
Yes, we do. You're right. I'm sorry, Commissioner. We do have looks like an ethics statement,
Yeah.
but there's no training.
No required
training, right?
So,
Okay.
so if we can ask staff to make some suggestions as on draft, some suggestion as relates to language to require annual training. We also is the purview of reviewing any and all ordinances is left up to the commission. We don't delegate that away. That's the commission, what we're doing now.
Mhm.
So we can at any point review the ethics ordinance. But I definitely would like to ask if through the chair, if staff could suggest an annual training for elected people upon entering office, as well as employees, require new employees to have some sort of training. And the level of training is to be administered by the HR department.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to ask staff to draft some suggested language for us to include in the section that you just mentioned.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Kinlock. Deferred to Commission Counsel.
So through the chair, and you answered one of my questions, which is who would we like to provide this training? I assume that it would be our human relations personnel department because they do all of our training. So we can get with them. The other question would be, when you say training, what type of training? Because if we're giving staff or elected officials copies of the ordinance and we're saying these are what we consider to be conflicts. This is the gifts you can or cannot receive. I mean, are we just saying someone to walk them through each section of the ordinance? I guess I'm trying to understand
that's-
what
Yeah.
training would look like, because if you read it, most of this should be clear, and they always have an opportunity. And maybe what we can make sure is that when individuals receive the ethics statement, that it's clear that they can ask questions. If you have any questions or concerns, you don't understand it, feel free to ask X, Y, and Z, to make sure you get your clarifications. I'm just not exactly sure what training looked like, but what I will do is get with our personnel department to see if they have any ideas on any type of modules that they can put together similar to the other training. But understanding that they'll probably seek a budget request potentially for that.
Whatever,
Yes.
there's people in it, but
It-
the one thing like the state, the governor annually have a big old room. All of us come in, we go in that room and the ethics officers, compliance officer for the executive office would basically go over it. And and you just be blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? But you still
Right.
had somebody physically going over, reiterating the importance of it and all those things there. And then we had to sign an acknowledgement after that training that we did participate in that training. So I'm just saying it's just someone going over it, basically going over the situation. So that's what I would call training, because like you said, it is clear, but it's actually someone going over it and asking you if you have any questions. Yeah,
Okay, so I'm gonna ask for some discretion in writing this.
you
It
did.
may not be personnel, it may be corp counsel, it may be my office. Let us figure out who's the best suited to actually go over an ordinance to make sure that they fully understand it.
That'll work.
But I will circle back with some internal departments and try to come up with some language to require annual training.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Counselor. Appreciate that. Okay, any other discussion? Commissioner Dobb? I'm sorry. Okay. Is that, you mean Mayberry? It's Mayberry. Commissioner Mayberry? Oh, she don't-
Get him, Commissioner Baker.
Oh, no, you raised your hand. I thought you raised your hand. Okay. Okay. Maybe you're pushing your hair back. I'm sorry. I didn't, okay. Okay. Thank you for that, Counselor Johnson. We appreciate that. Thank you, Commissioner Kinlock, for that. That's an excellent idea. I think it's as we move forward. Okay. Get back on the agenda here, and looks like the next order of business. Madam Clerk, please read it.
Item F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the task force.
I don't know of any. Yes,
Next item.
okay.
Also, we have here, Mr. Monson, attorney, yeah, board member Susie, it's here, Mr. Jeffrey, if you're interested.
Thank you. Okay. No, okay, so there's no other matters that are properly submitted before the task force. The next order of business,
Item G, public comments.
public comment. Is there anyone on Zoom? Anyone on the telephone line? That would like to make public comment? There
are no hands on Zoom and no emails were received.
Okay, is there anyone in the chamber who would like to make public comment? Anyone in the room here would like to address any items of contention, or Mr. Longstreet? Good to see you. Oh, yes, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon to this honorable body. My name is Attorney Charles Longstreet II. I am the attorney for the Wayne County, outside counsel for the Wayne County Ethics Board. We do appreciate this task force taking the time to review the ethics ordinance. We have had at least 2 subcommittees that have gone through the Wayne County Ethics Ordinance, trying to strengthen the ethics ordinance to make it more pertinent, so allow us to greater serve the citizens of Wayne County. We have done things to try to strengthen our abilities to enforce the ethics ordinance. We have added such things as investigative powers and subpoena powers, and most certainly would assist me in investigating complaints that are submitted to the Wayne County Ethics Board. I think it would be a more fair process by allowing at least myself to investigate the complaints that come forward, to give the ethics board a greater opportunity to make judgments and decisions, determining whether there's been a violation of the ethics ordinance. When I first came on as the counsel for the Wayne County Ethics Board, I noticed that this was kind of like a paper tiger. that it had some strength on paper, really didn't have much enforcement powers. So we do appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to review our changes, consider our changes, and give the ethics board the power that it needs to truly assist the county in maintaining ethical bounds. Any questions from me as the ethics board?
Oh, that's fine. I mean, we can defer the rules. If anybody have any questions for him, that shouldn't be a problem. Anybody got any questions? I mean, he's the attorney for the council. I mean, okay, we're good? Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. No, thank you, Mr. Longstreet. Appreciate you. Okay. Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Okay. Going once? Going twice? Don't trip over each other getting to the mic. Okay. 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 So public comment is now closed. The next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Item H, adjournment.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Support.
Okay. Support. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Thank you all very much.